Divorce and single-parent families. When we talk about family relations, we see that something that has taken place over the past many decades in family relations is the growing number of divorces, the increase in divorce rate all over the world. What is divorce? Divorce is dissolution of marriage, breaking a social contract that took place between a husband and a wife. We see that this dissolution of marriage or divorce has serious implications, psychological, social, and economic, for the husband and the wife as well as their children. What is the reason of divorce? Looking at it, we see that perhaps incompatibility was the reason. But we should also keep in mind that research has shown that it is not necessary that an enduring marriage will always be a happy and good marriage. We see, and research supports that there can be marriages which endured decades, but the husband and wife and children were never happy in that marriage. So that is one thing that we should keep in mind, that it is not necessary that breaking a marriage will always be bad. There can be problems in enduring marriages also. But at the same time, research shows that there are some variables that can predict divorce. For example, in the developing countries, that may not be an issue, but in the developed world, we see that young teenage marriages, they can predict divorce. Such marriages come to an end very soon. Another variable that can predict divorce is lower socioeconomic class. So if we are living in a developed country and the person belongs to the lower socioeconomic class, and where one or both spouses are not working or earning, the likelihood of divorce would be higher. In collectivistic cultures like our culture, we see that there is a lot of social pressure and social involvement of family and friends. So if a couple decides to go for divorce, the family may intervene for a patch-up. And many times we see that we end up in a patch-up. But if divorce has taken place, how do people adjust with that? How do people cope with that? Divorce, it is seen, affects men and women differently. Of course, there was a social bond between the husband and wife. Of course, they decided to get married to each other. And now, when this marriage is going to be dissolved, they have emotional consequences because of this. But there are gender differences in this, the way women handle the situation and the way men cope with it. It is seen that for the man, the husband and the wife, as well as the children and the family members, there are social, psychological and economic consequences. For example, who is going to look after the children? Who is going to react to whatever people are going to say in the society to them? But we see that gender role beliefs and emotional well-being of the people involved is very important. So if people have egalitarian viewpoints, they will do less of blaming in this case. Also, if there is emotional stability in people, then they will cope with the situation in a better manner. Research shows that adjustment after divorce is better in younger people. In case of older people, it is difficult to cope up with the situation. But of course, people cope up in one way or the other. Employment has also been found to be helpful. If people are working, if they are earning, and if they are capable of looking after themselves, and they have enough resources for looking after their children and their family, then they cope with the situation in an easy manner. Divorce also involves other legal issues apart from divorce itself. For example, custody of the children. Who is going to get the custody of the children, mother or the father? Then whether they are going to end up with joint custody, with visitation rights with any one of the parents. Then in some societies, the couple after divorce has to divide assets, the assets that they had made after marriage. That also involves legalities. A child support. If the child is going to live with one parent, is the other parent going to support the child? And remarriage. Are there any conditions for remarriage? And is it connected with the custody of the child? All these issues need to be looked into. As a result of growing rate of divorce, the number of single-parent families is also on the increase. And when we talk about the single-parent families, we usually see that the number of single mother families is more than the families with a single father. Because usually if we go to the court, usually the mother gets the custody of the child. B, there are occasions when father would prefer to have the custody of the child, but mostly they would give the custody of the child to the mother because the mother is in a better situation and she is better equipped to look after the child well. But the fact remains that the number of single-parent families is on the increase, and this is something which needs attention of the state as well as of the researchers.